part 2 of our lower back joint mobility warm-up and rehab routine. I'm now a week into my recovery from my back injury, so I'm going through this flow to help me feel comfortable with movement, begin to use some of my jiu-jitsu movements, and get my body warmed up in the morning. So I'm trying to do this routine in the morning and in the evening on every day. So this is part 2. This is some additional options you can add. If that first flow felt like you could handle it, maybe you've done it for a week, you want to add a little bit more depth to it, we're going to go a couple areas here a little deeper this time. So going through the flow the second time, some of the positions will be the same, but let's start in child's pose. Another suggestion is you may do the first flow to get yourself warmed up. It's really a good idea because if you're doing this early in the morning, your body's going to be much stiffer than it is later in the day. So I like to do the first flow we did part 1 and then do this as part 2 to go a little bit deeper. So this is really my second time through here. So in child's pose, here we're going to modify it just by walking over, staying long over to one side. Walk to the other side. This is where I can definitely feel where I need to work. This tightens up my back on my injuries on the left side and my lower back. It's okay to pause in a spot and breathe too. Again, you're not trying to cause any pain. You're just trying to bring some movement. Stay at a level of 3 or less on a scale of 1 to 10. Coming up onto our toes here. This cat-cow movement was from the first flow. Adding in the C-spine just quickly to see where we're at. Our first modification here is when we come up on our toes is we're going to, as opposed to, we're going to do open knee circles this time. So now, come back a little bit deeper. Open the knee circles. This may be easier, it may cause a little more movement on your back. And then this one's going to be more challenging. I'm going to turn to the side. You're going to try to tuck your pelvis under and do your knee circles with your pelvis tucked under. In other words, tucked under is this position. Keeping it tucked under, it'll feel quite different. Go back the opposite direction. This is a more advanced one to get that feeling, so if you don't feel it right away, don't worry. Good, coming back. Coming up into our, doing the right side here with the right foot forward, tucking under where we were in part 1. Tuck the pelvis under, slide forward, stretching the hip flexor, the front, and we're just going to add a little bit of a, where we were here in part 1, we're going to add a twist here. Be easy with this one. Elbow comes across. This one for myself is really intense right now, so I'm not going very deep at all. It's actually the first time I've done this stretch, so I've got to take it easy. I'm feeling a lot here in my low back, but breathing deeply. Good, coming back. Let's sit down in that shin box. So this time in our shin box, we did the twist in part 1. We're actually going to come down, kind of in a push-up. Switch our shin box, turn, lower yourself down slowly. Still okay to use your kickstand to make your switch. Turning towards that knee out front. You're turning so it's your 90 degrees, lowering down. I mean, not lower all the way down. Modification may be just to lower down to your forearms is fine, wherever you're at in your recovery. But you can see in part 2 we're bringing in a little bit more dynamic movement. Inhaling as you come up, exhale as you go down. Also now in the shin box, slowing it down a little bit. We can come down with the right leg's back, the left knee that's out front, leaning over that left knee. Just walk towards the center. This may be more of a hip stretch depending on where your back is at. Walk back around to that 9-degree position. Walk back to the center. Do this slowly with control. Good. Let's get the other side over there. Good. Finishing up there. Looking for my options here. And then let's just finish up again with that more dynamic movement from the shin box. This time we're going to add a switch in, so we're going to switch, instead of doing one side continuously, we're going to switch from side to side. So as we hip heist up, elbow marries into the hip, we bridge, hip stay up, come up, we do our shin box, come the other side, repeat. By now you're able to make that shin box switch without the kickstand. If you need the kickstand, that's still okay. Don't push it too fast here. Every day we want to recover 1% more and continue our recovery, as opposed to going backwards. It's okay if you're starting to change direction. Just keep your movement going. Good. Coming over to finish up. Let's come up to our kneeling, doing our side bends. Same as we did in part 1. I'm going to change these now into a camel position. So I have my toes under, arms in a T, twisting to the right. Just dropping my right hand back to my right heel, reaching up, side bending, but also twisting, looking up at the hand. To come out, I sit my butt towards my heels, bring my elbow down, coming back up, twist to the left, left hand drops back, reach up, heels back, elbow down, one more time on each side. Again, if this was a yoga class, we'd be holding this pose for quite a long time. We're just trying to move slowly in that joint, not have it fight us back. One more time on the left. This may be too intense for you if it's too early for your recovery. Good. Coming back to child's pose. Just release those back.